So in my last area, there was this one Sunday we had been teaching an investigator. He was from a different state in Mexico, but he was in Merida just working, building a house. And the house he was working on was 2 houses away from the church, from the ward we were serving in. And he was living there while he was building the house. So we came across him one day. We started teaching him. We'd been teaching him for about 2 or 3 weeks. And every lesson that we taught him, he just knew that the church was true. He knew it was true. He was not shy in telling you that. It was a little shocking to me to teach an investigator, and he just agreed with everything we said. And we invited him to pray about it, and the next day we would see him, and he said, I prayed about it, and I know it's true, and I felt like the Spirit told me. And so it was like a golden investigator, we call them. He did have a hard time coming to church on Sundays because his boss wanted him to work, but he asked for permission to go to church and then to come just take that 3-hour break, go to church, and then come back home or come back to work on the house. And his boss allowed him to do that. So he had come a couple times, and he was thinking about getting baptized. He knew he wanted to, but just hadn't wanted to pick a date yet. So we were waiting one day outside of the church, waiting for him to come, which was just a couple doors down, but it was pouring rain. We had a meeting earlier, and our plan was we were just gonna go to church early, have our meeting, and we'd wait for him there. And we talked to him on the phone. He said he was coming, but then 10 minutes before church, it just starts pouring rain. And this house is not done. So he is like under trees in his little hammock under the trees. That's where he's been sleeping. And we just got so sad. We figured he must be really cold and wet, and we didn't know if he was going to come to church. But me and my companion, we stood in the doorway, the entryway of the chapel or the church, and we just see this rain pouring down. And it wasn't really a prayer, like official, close your eyes, let's say a prayer, but we just had this desire and kind of said some words to each other. We're just kind of pleading with the Lord, please help this rain to stop so that this investigator can come to church, because he is progressing. He wants to come, and this obstacle, we just don't want to get in his way. That would just be sad. And so we both kind of had been saying this out loud. We're just like, oh, please stop raining. We really want it to stop raining, but it is pouring, and usually that lasts about an hour or 2 before it'll let up. But instantly, like 2 seconds later, the rain just stopped. Like, it was pouring, and then 2 seconds, done. And it was just drizzling from the roofs because there was water up there, but it stopped raining. And we looked at each other with our faces all red, and we said a prayer of gratitude for this really cool, simple thing that we needed, but that it was important enough for the Lord that it happened. So we ran, after our prayer, we ran over to his house. We called out his name, and he came out, and he's like, oh, it stopped raining, so I guess I'll come to church. So he grabbed his Book of Mormon, and we walked over to church, and it was the best experience for him. All the lessons that day, I felt, really spoke to him and what he needed and what his needs were. So it ended up being like such a miracle and such a blessing. That prayer was answered, and it was really cool to experience a miracle for this one person, but it was important enough for the Lord that he made it happen, and it didn't rain the rest of the day. So it was really unique and a really good experience and big testimony builder for me.